Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Totally Not Mark. I was about to start recording a reaction to the Dragon Ball Daima review, and then I seen this and I was like, I gotta check this out. I got to check this out. Like, everything right in Dragon Ball Evolution. Who would have thought this is something we're checking out? So, we all know how bad this film is. I'm laughing just thinking about it. This is gonna be so funny. Let's get into it. Let's see what the friggin' hell goes on in this video.
I was in Dragon Ball Z! Kamehameha!
Oh.
Was Dragon Ball Evolution really that bad?
Yes, but okay.
Maybe shown the Fury Ball.
Justin, you're making this way harder than it needs to be.
Oh.
The point I'm making is, it's easy to point out what's wrong with a movie like this.
Yeah.
Way too easy. The real challenge is in wading through the sewage to find the actual diamonds hidden within. And today, I'm going to do just that. Unlike the vast majority of other critics out there, I'm something of a Dragon Ball expert, or at the very least a fan with way too much time on his hands. So, join me as I attempt to count every single thing Dragon Ball Evolution does right, or kind of right, and maybe by the end, I'll have discovered enough to grant this film its first 5-star review from a Dragon Ball fan.
I look like the Dragon Ball Z right now.
Justin, for the love of God!
Dragon Ball Z. Rock the dragon, go get me.
Dragon Ball is just the story of a normal kid who realizes that he's meant for something more and that he has powers, you know. And one minute he's struggling trying to do his homework and fit in at school, and the next minute he realizes he's got to save the entire world. It's like, you know,
Right.
it's kind of a lot.
Alright, so if that clip, or the last 16 years of universal ridicule hasn't clued you in yet, Justin and seemingly the entire creative team behind this film, Dragon Ball Evolution, didn't know the first thing about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
They put Goku in school and called Ki Blasts air bending, so we're gonna have to grade this film on a curve.
I'm sorry about the film. I'm so sorry.
Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Regardless, we have 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 35 seconds of potentially accurate, faithful Dragon Ball moments to uncover
Is that how long
and,
it
most
is?
importantly, count. Let's dive in. And we didn't have to wait long. The first shot of the film is of the sun, which might seem innocuous and potentially coincidental, but I'm counting it as a nice nod to the original series' first opening visuals.
Okay. Wow, okay.
That's right, the bar is very much
That
on the
low.
floor. Also,
Yeah.
in this opening narration, a battle fought long ago by Piccolo is described. If we ignore the Uzaru disciple, the assertion that the Mafuba was a group invention and that the battle itself took place thousands of years ago, then that means we have 4 points. 1 for the sun visual, 1 for Piccolo, 1 for the war he waged, and 1 for the Mafuba being used to seal him away.
Oh.
That's all accurate.
Okay.
Hey, main character's name is correct, and he did in fact live with a Grandpa Gohan too. Furthermore, Gohan
Jesus
seems to be holding a red pole or Nyoibo and teaching Goku martial arts while living in a
I went
rural
to the cinema to
location
see
in
this. Oh
keeping
my God, it
with
was
the manga
awful.
setting. If we ignore the glaring fact that Goku seems to be older than 10 years of age, that's 5 more points.
Your key.
Ki is mentioned as this world's magic system, and it is described as coming from within.
Really?
English
The
dub
bar
of
is
anime
so
funnily enough,
low.
doesn't even call it Ki. Let that sink in. This film calls this magic system by what it's actually called in the manga, and the English dub doesn't. Those are 2 big points
Huh.
in favor of the movie, if you ask me.
okay.
Also, before the script makes the unforgivable sin of mentioning school and Goku's own insecurities, it says that he doesn't have any friends, which I think is true at the beginning of the manga. 1
Yeah.
point for being authentically isolated, I
Alright.
guess.
Give you that.
Yo, I could tear them apart with one hand.
Ignoring the fact that Goku is describing his desire to rip his classmates in two, this is the script indirectly pointing to Goku's superhuman strength, just like the manga.
You think I forgot?
God.
Sushinshu is yours.
Okay,
The
what
4-star ball.
Shushinshu? This movie makes Goku an insecure, love-struck teen and calls the Kamehameha airbending, but somehow manages to perfectly refer to the 4-star Dragon Ball with its Japanese pronunciation
Oh.
of the Chinese writing. That's one hell of a point for the name.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Cool. Ah, damn. No, Mark. No. No. I'm on board. No.
1 point for it being the 4-star ball, which is also correct. 1 point for correctly referring to it as a Dragon Ball in the first place. Yeah, okay, it's a low bar. 1 point for there being 7 Dragon Balls, and 1 point for them needing to be gathered to grant one, quote, perfect wish, which is the translation the manga uses and subsequently retcons. That's 5 points in like a minute. Way to go.
So keep it safe. Always.
That's another point for Grandpa Gohan, giving Goku the 4-star ball. And you know what? I'm awarding 1 more point for Goku's school fit featuring blue and orange so prominently. The clothes are all wrong, of course, but I'm throwing in some points for accurate colors. If only he narrowly missed being hit by that car, then I could also grant him another point. But alas, he gets creamed by it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Piccolo is introduced traveling around in an airship, presented as having green skin, is an alien. His race is also called a Namek, or...
Phonemics?
Yeah, close enough. And Piccolo is looking for the Dragon Balls. Those are 5 easy points right there.
Just because my name is Chi-Chi doesn't make me a complete idiot.
Okay, almost everything about Chi-Chi is wrong, but at least she knows about Ki, is into Goku, and her name is right, so that's good.
The
3
bar
points.
is that
But
low.
levels overrated.
While his characterization is entirely antithetical to that of the original Goku's, he is socially weird. 1 point. There ain't nothing more accurate than Goku's family being hungry for a lot of food. 1 point.
Beauty awaits.
Goku's hair being stubborn and messy is also accurate.
Oh, God, here we
This
go.
is a weird detail, and I say weird because...
Oh,
I
do you know what?
think
I'm
this
just
one
cringing. This film's so bad. Every time I'm seeing another scene pop up, I'm just like, ah, no.
is on purpose. As you can see, Chi-Chi's home is styled like a castle in the film. We don't see much of it in the manga, but her
Right.
home is originally presented as a castle
Oh my
atop
God,
Fire
Mark.
Mountain. You know, before Roshi destroyed
Destroys it with
Within
the
this film, it's a
Kamehameha.
creative choice that clashes pretty hard with Evolution's aesthetic, so
Huh.
I'm leaning
Oh,
to this being
annoying.
actually an intentional nod.
He's
1
right,
point.
yeah.
What happened to the parents?
I don't know.
Goku's an orphan and doesn't know anything about his parents.
Oh, God.
Sweet, Grandpa Gohan dies. The when, where, and the how he dies isn't right, but he does die. Better late than never, and it is under a full moon no less. There's no correlation between the full moon and Uzaru because they're doing that weird eclipse thing, but 2 points are 2 points. Add them to the counter.
Okay.
Something's wrong.
Oh, sweet. Goku can sense something's wrong with his grandpa, suggesting that he can sense Ki. He's looking at the moon when he says this for some reason, but it's vague enough for me to be charitable and count it. Also, Goku abruptly running away from Chi-Chi is way too accurate. 2 points.
God.
Despite this being delivered to Goku from the wrong person, I have to award a point for sticking with the bright orange Ki. Also, the symbol on his chest is right too. Technically, it translates to Kame and is the crest Roshi offers Goku once he finishes training underneath him in
Right.
the lead up to the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. But hey, that's a point for the gi and a point for the symbol that also happens to be on his chest at some point in the series. It might not be now, but it is later.
Cool.
Where is it? I know it's here.
Hey, Bulma exists, and what's more
Alright.
is she first meets Goku by pointing a
I
gun
got
at
him.
him.
Yeah.
She's even got some blue hair. Okay, there's a strand of blue hair. Whatever, it counts. She's rich, her father's company is Capsule Corp, and she's looking for a single Dragon Ball. Damn. Okay, that last one isn't right. Still, though, that's 5 points right there.
How'd you know I had the Dragon Ball?
A little machine I invented.
I gotta give the Dragon Raider 1 point, despite it looking
Looks
like something
shit.
out of a Happy Meal.
Yeah,
and
it
another
looks
point because
awful.
She invented it. She's a scientist, inventor, and engineering girl. 2 points, just like that.
The key must be the other Dragon Balls. I have to have them all.
Alright, all we have to do with this is ignore her reasoning behind wanting the Dragon Balls, and boom! We've got a Bulma that now
That's all
wants
we've gotta
the Dragon
do.
Balls and another snazzy point to add to the counter.
Bulma briefs.
So, they may have made a mistake in calling her briefs, but hey, Goku and Bulma are now teaming up to search for the Dragon Balls.
Let's
together.
go.
And they had that conversation in Goku's home too. 2 points. Disagree all you want. This is Capsule Tech, and I am 100% counting it. Ooh, also, I just noticed
Ooh.
Bulma is wearing a little bit of pink, just like she wears when she meets Goku in the manga. Plus, her hair is tied up in a vaguely similar fashion.
Yeah,
And that's
alright,
all of it.
okay, fine, yeah.
Goku eating is always going to be an easy
God,
one.
that makes me hungry.
I can always sense my grandfather.
Hey, another instance where Goku can sense something is wrong. Maybe it wasn't a fluke last time. Whatever the case, that's another point. Look, it's
I did like this. Before he gets into it, this was cool. Obviously, Kami House is on its little island. This was them doing the same thing. This was cool.
a small island in the middle of the ocean, but it is vaguely trying to evoke. that
It's
sort of
trying
vibe.
to do
It's an
similar.
island within the city. Close enough.
I liked that.
Goku possessing superhuman speed is accurate. Also, I do wonder if anyone has ever tried to power scale Justin Chatwin's Goku against the mainline Goku. Where does he stack up in terms of strength? Is it
Yeah.
Team Goku, Team
Has that
Goku? I can't imagine
been
it's
a
any further than
thing?
that, but yeah, these are the questions I need answers to. 1 point.
Interesting.
Yay! Master Roshi exists, is a great or legendary martial arts master. He trained Goku's grandpa Gohan and refers to himself as Muten Roshi no less. English dub, eat your heart out. 4 points, easily.
And compel Shenlong to
Holy crap, do my ears deceive me? Shenlong? Not Shenron, but
Yeah,
Shenlong.
Shenlong,
Just
yeah.
like the manga. The English dub uses Shenron as an approximation of the Chinese word, and while technically both are correct, Shenlong is more authentic and accurate to the source.
Whoa!
Bikini Quarterly?
That's a collector's edition.
Huh, how about that?
He's a
I wasn't expecting
perv.
them to lean into Roshi's
Yay!
given the age rating of the movie, but they do manage to do it twice. Wait, actually, maybe 3 times. Yeah, I'm gonna count that 3rd time in the hole. Also, he has a Dragon Ball just like the manga, and it's a 2-star ball. Damn, if that was a 3-star ball, it would have been perfect. Oh, also, the first time Goku meets him, it's with Bulma. That makes the total 5 points. Wait, make it 6 points. It's a subtle detail, but the fact that Roshi chooses to wear the Dragon Ball in his possession around his neck, it's a nice nod to the original encounter on the beach during the first arc. In fact, it's such a nice nod that I'm going to award Roshi an extra point for his crappy attempt at a goatee. With that, the tally for this scene is 7 points, a new record
My
for the film.
God.
Much easier to find without the water.
It might not be the Pilaf gang, but the fact that Maya's helping Piccolo acquire the Dragon Balls is sort of accurate. 1 point.
Yeah, that was like such a weird choice. Like, I was like, because it was her with Piccolo, it's like, who is this person? Who is she meant to be? And then it's like, okay. So bizarre.
This is a super short shot, but Goku running with a bunch of heavy stuff on his back for Roshi's training is super authentic and evocative of Dragon Ball's second arc. Also, Roshi's colorful button-up shirt is getting a point too.
Nobody at home knows this, but I'm a fighter too.
Alright, so this scene, just like the film, is a mishmash of several authentic Dragon Ball elements combined to create something entirely unrecognizable. But I'm counting them anyway. 1 point for Chi-Chi being a martial artist. Seriously,
Yeah, okay,
she
fine.
might actually get more action in this film than the entire series. I'm also going to give another
True.
point for this wasteland environment. It is super
Yeah,
Dragon Ball coded
it
and
very
reminds me of
is.
Goku versus Vegeta. And finally, 1 additional point for a martial arts tournament being mentioned. That's 3 points. Hey, Roshi sunglasses, finally. 1 point.
Yamcha, at your service. I'm gonna need some payment.
Okay, so there's a lot I can give points to here. There's no poir.
In all fairness, because the first time they meet Yamcha is in the desert, isn't it? I'm remembering this correctly, because I only watched Dragon Ball very loosely last year. Yeah.
Which is a bummer, but Yamcha does exist. He's wearing orange, which is a plus, hangs out in the desert, is a bandit, impedes Goku and Bulma's progression, and tries to do his best Christopher Sabat impression at all times.
That TV thing is right. The ball you're looking for is right here.
I gotta give this man 6 points, bro. Roshi is capable of superhuman feats. 1 point. You know, I actually completely forgot about this scene, and while the how he does it is wrong and what he creates looks nothing like the source material, Dragon Ball Evolution does have a Piccolo villain that gives life to some minions. 1 point, and honestly, I'm still surprised.
Right.
Building on the last scene, Goku does face off against, fight, and defeat Piccolo's minions. It's a good thing there's no Krillin in this movie. Wait, why is there no Krillin?
Yeah, why isn't there
Mai
Krillin?
is in it, but not
Not
Krillin.
Krillin.
I guess
That
Goku
is mad.
having any friends would have ruined this movie's vibe.
I've never thought about that. Krillin's not in this film. Only now. How many years later? I've watched so many videos taking the piss out of this film. Krillin was never in this movie. Yamcha's in it! What the fuck?
Whatever, 2 points. Would you look at that? Dragon Ball Evolution has power scaling. Goku is way stronger than mine, which is accurate to the manga.
Yeah, very much.
Now, if we ignore this entirely made-up character Roshi's talking to and what he's asking of him, we will discover confirmation that the Mafuba requires a containment vessel that drains the life force energy of the user, and Roshi is the only one that can do it. 2 points. Ooh, a tournament. Okay, there's actually a few things here, and one of them I was low-key impressed by. First, let's get the obvious out of the way. Chi-Chi fighting in a martial arts tournament, that happens. Also, the out-of-bounds rule demonstrated is accurate, even though the style of the arena isn't. But interestingly, the most accurate detail of all has to be the referee's uniform. They match exactly those.
Yeah, cool. All right, yeah.
Rounds of the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. I honestly had to double check.
That is cool.
All
right,
okay.
okay.
Nice detail. 3 points for this scene.
Sound.
Never thought I could enjoy talking to a thief.
Yamcha and Bulma are love interests. 1 point.
I'm not so bad once you get to know me.
Maybe I like bad men.
Ooh.
Mentioned and confirmed. This is
I'm
the
never
best
gonna
line of the
dance
film, by the way.
again.
I want so desperately to believe that this is a nod to Vegeta's pink bad man shirt from the Androids arc. Plus, it's literally true about her character anyway.
The final level of airbending technique is the
Airbending. Jesus
Stop
Christ.
calling it airbending. God
That's so
damn it, I'm
weird.
trying to run defense for you. Whatever. The Kamehameha is finally mentioned. Plus, Roshi knows how to perform it, he shows Goku, and the pose is vaguely accurate upon release. Another small detail is that Goku's wearing the blue martial arts gi from the first arc also. And finally, while Grandpa Gohan never told Goku about the Kamehameha, he did know about the technique and could use it too. 6 points total for this scene. Goku's
So weird.
Kamehameha is blue, which is correct. And I know what you're thinking. Roshi's was red in the film. That's so totally wrong. Well, in the original manga, the Kamehameha was actually white. In the full color, it's yellow. And in the anime, it's blue. But in the manga's limited colors, the Kamehameha was in fact red.
Red.
How about that?
Whoa!
Well, absolutely a mistake.
Yo.
I can give it a point for the accidental reference to the limited color pages. Oh my god, he fucking decked her. Okay,
That was
this
crazy.
might not be in the tournament. It might be under entirely different circumstances, and he may have actually seriously made contact with her, but Goku does defeat Chi-Chi in this movie. Also, Mai's go-to weapon is a gun, which is correct. And while it's not Puar and Oolong performing the shapeshifting, and Mai cannot perform this technique, shapeshifting is a prominent part of early Dragon Ball. 3 points.
We are really grasping at straws here, Mark. Jesus Christ.
I'm so happy to see you.
Alright, so 2 things. Everything is wrong, but on a technical level, 2 things are correct. Goku does get a chance to meet his grandpa again after his death, and Goku does get pushed to near death during the King Piccolo arc, only to be revived due to bullshit. I mean, totally justifiable and cathartic reasons.
His
Honestly,
heart's
at
actually
least
okay.
Dragon Ball Evolution gave him a shock to the heart with Roshi. Also, I gotta ask, what's the deal with facial hair in this film? Why are they scared to give Roshi a goatee? Why did they give Grandpa Gohan this weird as all hell soul patch when his actual facial hair is the inverse of it? Whatever.
We're too late. They have all 7 Dragon Balls.
This is accurate to the original story. Piccolo does manage to gather all 7 Dragon Balls. There's no specific place Shenlong needs to be summoned, of course, but we take our wins when and where we can with this film.
We will meet again on the other side.
Confirmation that Roshi plans to use the Mafuba and die in the process in order to protect the younger generation. 2 points. Flying
Here we
cards,
go.
1 point.
When the blood moon eclipses the sun, you will become Muzan.
While this sequence has a
This is weird.
staggering amount wrong, and Piccolo
Yeah.
isn't the one to tell Goku about his transformation.
Yeah, like staggering. Oh my god, this was. Oh, I remember sitting there being like, what the fuck am I watching?
The setting is very similar to that where Vegeta eventually fills him in on this during the Saiyan arc, and it's also accurate that Goku didn't know that he was the one who transformed into the Uzaru, and that he didn't know he was from space or found by his grandpa Gohan. Plenty accurate about this scene once you look past the dizzying amount of incorrectness.
Ozaru, They have a Dragon Ball. Bring it to me.
While he doesn't take orders from anyone in the manga, Goku does lose his sense of self when he transforms into the Uzaru. Plus, the design of the creature in the movie is clearly similar to the manga's interpretation also. And while there are those of you who will criticize this film for the small size of the transformation, I should point out that the manga, particularly in the first few arcs, really couldn't nail down the size of the Uzaru or Great Ape form.
Yeah, I've seen this before. Someone's gone like... He's so many different sizes when he transforms.
At all. One moment he's the size of a castle, and the next he's much smaller. Regardless, 2 points. Go! While not the same circumstance, Yamcha and Poir do try to save Bulma from Goku in his Great Ape or Uzaru form. 1 point. Roshi fails to seal Piccolo with the Mafuba. 1 point.
Don't let Osaru destroy the Goku in you.
Alright, despite this scene never taking place and it not being reflective of how the Uzaru transformation works at all, it has been shown within the story that even when your senses are lost as the Uzaru, if the right person tries to connect with you, your inner humanity can be reached in order to regain control. We saw it with Gohan versus Vegeta, so technically there's one element of this scene that's sort of kinda correct. Also, Roshi does die, just not like this. Key blast fight!
Let's go!
Another genuinely surprising detail that this film got right was the color of Goku's eyes as he channels the Uzaru form. Red is the color they changed it in the manga and in the anime. The eyes of various characters changing color with each subsequent transformation became very obvious once Super Saiyan came into the picture, but it started here with the Uzaru. It's a detail I'm sure a lot of fans wouldn't have even noticed. 1 point. Okay, so this is a really weird one. It's clear to me that two famous Kamehamehas are being referenced with this final climactic shot. The first is obvious. It's Goku versus Vegeta's beam struggle. The framing is all there. Goku on the ground in his signature stance, charging the Kamehameha as the last line of defense of the Earth against the evil blast sent from above. In fact, you might even argue that it could be referencing the Piccolo Jr. fight that happens before it. Cool. 1 point for that. The second reference becomes obvious when Goku jumps towards Piccolo with the Kamehameha. Clearly this is referencing Goku's final attack on King Piccolo, where he doesn't jump but instead launches himself
like flies at it with him.
Sort of like a rocket, generating enough forward momentum to not only reach Piccolo but punch a
through him.
Straight through him. The movie version looks awkward because it's combining two different final attacks with the Kamehameha.
It is strange.
That are trying to do two entirely different things. One's pushing away the opponent and the other is pushing Goku closer to it. Thus, jumping with the Kamehameha like this makes the blast feel like it has no force at all. And in effect, this one scene is sort of the perfect metaphor for this film. It's just shoving a bunch of stuff onto our plate without any consideration of how it works together. Still, though, it's clearly referencing, albeit exceptionally poorly, two scenes from the original manga. He might not be green, but Dragon Ball Evolution Shenlong is a long serpentine dragon with two large horns, a back adorned by spikes, and four short legs.
Does look alright.
To all of that, Roshi is brought back to life, and once the wish is granted, the Dragon Balls scatter. This is accurate. 3 points. Hey, would you look at that? Goku does get to fight Chi-Chi in the tournament setting. Gonna have to give a point for that.
Jesus, they thought there was going to be a sequel.
Isn't anything like how it happens in the manga. On the most technical and nitpicky of levels, Piccolo's story does in fact not end once defeated by Goku here. He does technically live on. And with that 1 point, we arrive at our final total of 131 things Dragon Ball Evolution got right or accurate, sort of, about the original.
Sort of.
You know, it's strange. Dragon Ball Evolution has been universally mocked, and deservedly so, for nearly 16 years now.
Shut up. It's that long. 16 years. I'm so old.
They contributed to that criticism with my own past videos, but revisiting this film, not with a critical eye, but instead a forgiving one, and watching the promotional interviews for this film, left me genuinely bewildered and somewhat sympathetic towards the actors involved. Throughout the interviews featuring Justin Chatwin and Emmy Rossum, the girl who played Bulma, two facts repeatedly stood out. One, they knew virtually nothing,
Nothing
about
about
the
it,
Dragon
right,
Ball
yeah,
story.
yeah,
And
yeah.
2, they consistently positioned the film as a generic hero's journey rather than a faithful adaptation of Dragon Ball itself, almost as
Damn.
if to temper expectations, which was hilariously evident during their run of interviews in Japan. Check it out.
This is kind of an adaptation of the original Dragon Ball comic, so you're not going to see Dragon Ball the comic. It's a retelling of that story.
God,
It's
so
very
awkward.
exciting and a big honor to play this character. I know a lot of people feel like they love her and feel like they hold a piece of her in their heart, so I hope that I can do it justice for them.
I think Jim Wong's vision is for it to be universal, and ultimately it's the hero's journey.
Tell me this doesn't feel like an interrogation.
It
but we gotta
is
remember,
so
even
awkward. It's like they don't even feel sure about what they're saying.
though
Yeah.
these guys are on the front lines for the film, the actors themselves didn't write the script. They were just doing their
Yeah,
jobs.
it's true.
The real issue here lies deeper. As series creator Akira Toriyama himself explained, the script didn't really capture the world or characteristics of
Dragon Ball,
And
no.
despite his attempts to provide guidance, the production team had a, quote, odd confidence that led to the film Toriyama bluntly described as a movie I cannot call Dragon Ball. Which, you know, given Man of Steel is probably a better Dragon Ball film than this, is a reasonable take.
Hey,
Dave
yo, because
Ramsey-
because I remember this Dragon Ball Evolution came out, and I was like, that is awful. And I watched Man of Steel, and I was like, that's how you do a Dragon Ball movie. I remember being in the cinema where Superman's fighting those two Kryptonians. Mate, I was like, that's Goku versus Nappa and Vegeta right there. I was like, that's how you do it.
Screenwriter eventually summed it up best in his sincere apology to fans, admitting he
I
quote,
dropped the
dropped
Dragon
Dragon
Ball.
Ball
That's amazing.
by approaching the project purely as a business venture rather than as a passionate fan. Quote, I have learned that when you go into a creative endeavor without passion, you come out with suboptimal results and sometimes flat out garbage. So, yes, Dragon Ball Evolution managed to cram 131 distinct Dragon Ball references into its script, but as the exercise has shown, hollow references
Don't
alone
worry.
aren't enough. You can dress a man up in a batsuit, put him in Gotham, but once he pulls out a back credit card, it stops feeling authentic. Ultimately, this film serves as a teachable moment. That genuine adaptation requires a deeper understanding of and passion for the source material, not just superficial nods. At the very least, I can say thank you to Dragon Ball Evolution for irritating Akira Toriyama enough to return to bring us Battle of Gods.
Yeah, like, you got that, haven't you? You gotta say, thank God Dragon Ball Evolution exists so that we got more Dragon Ball. Craziness.
Still though, 131 superficial nods or not are better than no- Oh. Well, thanks to Dragon Ball Super, we now know Goku apparently never kissed Chi-Chi even once throughout their decades of marriage, and no, that was not a mistranslation. I checked. Minus 131 points.
So glad I checked that out. I will check out the Dragon Ball Diamond review sometime this week. Again, I've got a huge announcement to let you all know during this week. I have mentioned a few times how it's stuff going on. This is like life-changing stuff. So there may be days without videos because of that. So see how we go. But that was fun. That was a very fun video to check out. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I like that. God knows what Mark's video is going to be next week. But I do want to check out the Dragon Ball Diamond review. I will do that during this week before my announcement. But yeah, thanks for watching.